In the serene town of Cedarwood, the brutal murder of Emily Parker sent shockwaves through the community. What seemed like a tranquil suburban haven was shattered by a tale of passion and betrayal, revealing the hidden complexities beneath seemingly perfect lives. This is the story of two couples, Michael and Sarah Thompson, and Andrew and Emily Parker, whose lives intertwined in a way that led to obsession, deceit, and ultimately, murder. Michael Thompson, known for his affable personality and successful career in architecture, was married to Sarah, a beloved teacher at the local elementary school. Andrew Parker, a charismatic financial advisor, and his wife Emily quickly became the Thompsons' closest friends after moving to Cedarwood 5 years ago. Their arrival brought a new energy to the neighborhood, deepening their bond with the Thompsons over shared interests and mutual respect. The idea of swapping partners arose during a casual dinner at the Thompsons' home. Fueled by wine and a sense of adventure, the topic of open relationships sparked curiosity rather than shock. Over time, what started as a daring experiment became a regular part of their lives, injecting excitement into their marriages while they maintained their social activities and hosted joint gatherings. Initially, the arrangement brought joy and connection. However, beneath the surface, dangerous emotions simmered. Michael's fascination with Emily grew into an obsession that Sarah couldn't ignore. Emily, sensing Michael's intense feelings, decided to end the arrangement, unaware of the tragic consequences her decision would unleash. Michael and Sarah had been married for a decade, presenting a stable and happy facade to the world. Sarah, a passionate teacher loved by her students, took pride in their cozy home on Oak Street, surrounded by a meticulously tended garden. The Parkers' arrival in Cedarwood added a new vibrancy to their lives, bonding over shared dinners and weekend trips. As months passed, Michael's behavior became increasingly fixated on Emily. He found excuses to be near her, volunteering for tasks Andrew usually handled and insisting on more frequent visits with the Parkers. Sarah noticed the change but dismissed it initially, hoping it was a passing infatuation. Emily, too, sensed Michael's growing obsession. Flattered at first, she soon felt uneasy as his attentions became possessive and inappropriate. She confided in Andrew, who reassured her, attributing Michael's behavior to his expressive nature. The breaking point came during a lakeside retreat. Intending to reconnect, tensions escalated as Michael monopolized Emily's time, ignoring Sarah's discomfort. One evening by the fire, Michael crossed a line, suggesting a future together, leaving Emily shocked and unsettled. Sarah, who overheard, confronted Michael, but he dismissed her concerns as jealousy. Sarah, torn between loyalty to Michael and concern for Emily, struggled as Michael's fixation intensified. Determined to protect her marriage, Sarah advised Emily to distance herself, hoping to defuse the situation. Emily's decision to end the arrangement only fueled Michael's desperation. He began following her, showing up uninvited at her yoga classes and workplace, leaving messages professing his love. Emily confided in Sarah, who promised to talk to Michael, hoping to restore peace. Despite Sarah's efforts, Michael's behavior grew increasingly erratic. One evening, while Sarah was away, Michael appeared at the Parkers' home, demanding to see Emily. Sarah's heart sank as she learned of the confrontation, realizing Michael's obsession had spiraled out of control. The encounter left Emily shaken, fearing for her safety. She confided in Andrew, who insisted they involve the police. Sarah, torn between her loyalty to Michael and her growing fear, struggled to maintain normalcy while monitoring Michael's increasingly unstable behavior. The situation reached a breaking point when Emily discovered Michael waiting outside her house. Terrified, she called Sarah, who agreed to meet and discuss their options. Over coffee, Sarah listened to Emily's fears and agreed to confront Michael once more. That night, Sarah confronted Michael at their home, urging him to end his pursuit of Emily. Angered and desperate, Michael refused to accept Emily's rejection, accusing Sarah of betraying him. The argument escalated, leaving Sarah fearful for her safety as Michael's rage intensified. Michael, feeling cornered, lashed out at her, accusing her of taking Emily's side and betraying him. The argument escalated, and Sarah, fearing for her own safety, retreated to their bedroom. That night, Michael's thoughts turned darker. He couldn't accept that Emily had rejected him and that his own wife was against him. In his twisted mind, he believed that the only way to resolve the situation was to eliminate the source of his pain. He decided that if he couldn't have Emily, no one could. On a cold, clear night, Michael made his way to the Parkers' house. He knew Andrew was out of town, leaving Emily alone. He broke in through a side window and made his way to the bedroom where Emily lay sleeping. The sight of her, peaceful and unaware, fueled his rage and desperation. He grabbed a kitchen knife and approached her, his mind filled with a chaotic mix of love and hatred. Emily awoke to the sight of Michael standing over her, the knife gleaming in the dim light. She tried to scream, but Michael covered her mouth, his grip strong and unyielding. In a fit of rage, he plunged the knife into her chest, silencing her cries. As Emily's life slipped away, Michael stood over her, his mind a haze of conflicting emotions. In the aftermath of the murder, Michael fled the scene, his hands stained with Emily's blood. He returned home, where Sarah found him trembling and incoherent. She realized immediately what he had done, and in a moment of twisted loyalty, she decided to help him cover up the crime. The life they had built, the secrets they had kept, were all at stake. Sarah knew that if they were to survive, they needed to act quickly and decisively. Sarah, driven by a twisted sense of loyalty and self-preservation, bathroom, instructing him to remove his clothes and wash off the blood. Her mind raced with the urgency of their predicament. She knew they had to act fast to cover up the crime and protect their secret life. As Michael stood under the hot shower, the water turning pink around his feet, Sarah gathered his clothes and placed them in a plastic bag. She scrubbed the floor where he had walked, making sure to eliminate any trace of blood. Once Michael was cleaned up, she sat him down and forced him to recount every detail of what had happened. Despite his emotional state, Michael managed to provide a coherent account, his voice shaking with the weight of his actions. In a desperate attempt to calm him, Sarah suggested a short trip out of town, hoping to distance Michael from Emily and avoid further conflict. During their time away, Sarah coached Michael on maintaining composure and managing his emotions. Upon returning, Sarah noticed Michael's instability increasing. He became withdrawn, consumed by guilt and fear of discovery. Sarah, determined to protect their secret, monitored Michael closely, hoping to avoid suspicion. As weeks passed, Sarah's efforts to shield Michael and maintain appearances grew more challenging. Friends and neighbors noticed Michael's erratic behavior and speculated about his involvement in Emily's disappearance. Sarah, aware of the mounting suspicion, knew their facade was crumbling. Detective Reynolds, investigating Emily's disappearance, questioned the Thompsons and noted inconsistencies in Michael's story. Despite Sarah's efforts to cover for him, Reynolds sensed something amiss and intensified the investigation. Forensic analysis revealed traces of blood in the Thompsons' home, contradicting Sarah's alibi. Reynolds, suspicious of Michael's behavior during questioning, intensified efforts to uncover the truth. Witness testimony and phone records pointed to Michael's presence near the Parkers' home on the night of Emily's disappearance. Armed with a search warrant, Reynolds discovered burnt clothing and a knife hidden in the Thompsons' home, confirming Michael's guilt. Confronted with the evidence, Michael confessed to killing Emily in a fit of rage and implicated Sarah in the cover-up. Sarah, facing charges of accessory to murder, admitted her role, driven by fear and misguided loyalty. Their trial captivated Cedarwood, drawing attention from across the region. Michael received a life sentence without parole, while Sarah, cooperating with authorities, received a reduced sentence. Andrew, devastated by Emily's death, found some closure in the justice served but continued mourning his loss.